Did you know that most people over the age of 65 are already living with 5 silent health problems that are slowly wearing them down? These aren't the big, dramatic diseases you hear about on the news. No, these are hidden issues, quiet and sneaky, that take years to show themselves. And by the time they do, it's often too late. Most people don't even realize what's really happening inside their bodies until it's already made them weaker, older, and more fragile than they should be. Mainstream health sources rarely talk about this. You'll hear about heart disease, cancer, diabetes. Yes, those are real dangers, but there's a deeper layer that's being overlooked. These silent conditions don't cause sudden pain. They don't show up in obvious ways. Instead, they build up slowly, causing tiny shifts in your energy, memory, balance, digestion, and more. And those small changes? They add up to something big. Let me tell you about someone who learned this the hard way. His name is Walter. He's 82 years old, a proud war veteran, and someone who never saw himself as sick or frail. Walter lived a good life. He ate fairly well, took walks, and played chess every Sunday at the park with his friends. To anyone watching, he seemed just like a healthy, aging man enjoying his golden years. But deep down, something was quietly going wrong. One day, Walter fainted while walking to the kitchen. No warning. No pain. He just collapsed. He was rushed to the ER, and that's when the real story started to unfold. Doctors ran a series of tests, expecting maybe dehydration or fatigue. What they found was far more surprising and far more common than most people realize. Walter didn't have any major disease. His heart wasn't failing. He didn't have a stroke or a heart attack. What he had was a perfect storm of small, silent problems, low muscle mass, hidden inflammation, weak circulation, nutrient deficiencies, and subtle neurological decline. Each of these on its own wouldn't have caused the fall. But together, they overwhelmed his system. You see, these issues don't make headlines. But they do take lives just slowly. They steal your strength, your balance, your memory, and your energy. They shrink your life bit by bit. And the scariest part? You don't feel most of them happening. You just assume you're getting older. That's exactly what Walter thought. He had no clue his body was quietly falling out of balance. Now, imagine how many other people are walking around just like Walter. Feeling tired, a little off, forgetting things more often, but brushing it off as aging. They don't realize their body is sending them signals. They don't realize that these silent conditions are treatable, reversible, if you know what to look for and act early enough. Walter's story is a wake-up call. It shows us that growing older doesn't have to mean growing weaker. If we learn how to spot these hidden problems early, we can add not just years to life, but life to our years. We can stay sharp, strong, and active long past what most people think is possible. But it takes knowledge. And it takes action. This video isn't just about scary facts, it's about hope. Because once you understand what these 5 silent conditions are and how to fight them, everything changes. You can take back control of your health. You can feel good again. You can age on your terms, not on the terms of hidden decline. So stay with me. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through each of these silent conditions. I'll show you how they work, how they sneak up on people like Walter, and most importantly, how you can stop them. Number 1. Hidden inflammation. Imagine waking up each morning thinking everything inside you is calm, while a quiet fire is actually burning beneath the surface. This hidden flame isn't the kind you feel in an aching knee or see in a swollen ankle. It's a slow, gentle heat that flickers inside your blood vessels, your joints, and even the delicate folds of your brain, working day and night where you can't sense it. Because the flame is so small, it never screams for attention. There's no redness, no throbbing pain to warn you. You go about your routine, thinking all is well, while tiny sparks of irritation poke at your tissues. Every spoonful of sugary cereal, every handful of salty chips fried in cheap oil, feeds the fire a little more. Inside your arteries, those sparks rough up the smooth lining that's supposed to let blood glide past with ease. Tiny white blood cells rush in, hoping to patch things up, but they bring swelling with them. Over time, those patches get thicker, the passage narrows. Your heart then has to push harder, and your blood pressure starts to creep. First a pinch, then a strain. The same thing happens in your joints. Each sip of sugary soda can sprinkle microscopic embers on cartilage, the soft cushion that keeps your bones from grinding. At first you don't feel a thing, but weeks turn into months, and one day your hips feel stiff when you stand. You chalk it up to getting older. unaware that the hidden fire has been sandpapering the joint for years. Processed seed oils, those clear, cheap bottles you find on every supermarket shelf, act like lighter fluid. They are ultra-fragile fats that break apart in a hot pan or under bright factory lights. Their broken pieces drift through your bloodstream, sparking new fires or fanning old ones, especially when mixed with the sugar that sneaks into almost every packaged snack. Stress pours on gasoline. When deadlines loom or family worries keep you up at night, your body releases stress hormones that tell immune cells to stand guard. They patrol with good intentions, but they're jumpy. One false alarm, and they fight shadows, scraping tissues, swelling vessels, and leaving behind invisible bruises that never quite heal. All these tiny wounds add up. The flame may be low, but it never goes out. Slowly, silently, arteries harden, brain cells lose their spark, and the energy you once had leaks away. You might blame bad genes or old age, yet the true culprit is a candle you didn't even know was lit. Doctors rarely look for this kind of inflammation unless you're already showing obvious trouble. Standard checkups often skip the special blood tests. Insurance forms don't always cover them. So the fire keeps crackling unnoticed, waiting for a big enough flare-up to cause a crisis. That's exactly what happened to Walter. For years he felt fine, maybe a bit tired after lunch, maybe a little foggy on stressful days. But nothing major. One winter evening his blood pressure shot up without warning. At the clinic, scans showed his arteries lined with scar tissue from years of quiet burning. Walter was shocked. No one had told him this could happen beneath a calm exterior. If you're watching this video, stay with us to the end. In the next few minutes you'll learn simple, practical steps to smother that hidden flame before it steals your strength. Don't wait for a scare like Walter's. Keep watching, and let's put out the fire together, one cool, healing choice at a time. Number 2. Nutrient absorption decline. As we get older, a lot of things change in the body, but one thing that often goes unnoticed is how our digestion slows down. Most people think that if you're eating a healthy meal, your body is getting all the nutrients it needs. But that's not always true, especially for older adults. The problem doesn't lie in the food, it's in how the body processes it. You see, the stomach plays a huge role in breaking down food so that the nutrients inside can be absorbed. And a key part of this process is stomach acid. When we're younger, our bodies produce plenty of it. It helps digest protein, absorb minerals, and release important vitamins like B12 from the food we eat. But as we age, our stomachs start producing less acid, sometimes a lot less. At first, that might sound like a good thing. Fewer stomach acids might mean less heartburn, right? But there's a hidden downside. Without enough acid, your body can't properly unlock the nutrients from food. So even if you're eating a perfect diet, fresh veggies, lean proteins, whole grains, you still might not be getting what your body needs. That's exactly what happened to Walter. He was in his 70s, retired, and doing all the right things. He ate 3 balanced meals a day. He walked daily, drank plenty of water, and even avoided processed foods. On the outside, everything looked fine. But on the inside, his body was struggling. Walter started feeling tired all the time. His muscles felt weaker, and he was losing weight without trying. His doctor ran some blood tests, and the results were surprising. Despite eating well, Walter was low in vitamin B12, magnesium, and protein, 3 of the most important building blocks for energy, healing, and strength. Vitamin B12 is essential for nerve health and brain function. Without it, people can feel foggy, tired, or even depressed. Magnesium supports the heart, muscles, and sleep. And protein? That's your body's raw material for building and repairing muscle. Without enough protein, even everyday activities can start to feel exhausting. It turned out that Walter's body simply wasn't absorbing these nutrients properly. His stomach wasn't producing enough acid to break them down. His food was passing through his system, but the good stuff, the vitamins, the minerals, the amino acids, wasn't getting in. And this is something that happens to millions of older adults, often without them even knowing it. This isn't just about feeling a little tired or run down. Without enough nutrients, your body starts to slow down its healing. Cuts take longer to heal. You lose muscle mass more quickly. Energy disappears, and you can feel like you're aging faster than you should. It's not because of the food. It's because your body isn't getting what the food is supposed to give. That's why simply eating healthy isn't enough as you get older. You also need to make sure your body can absorb those nutrients. Sometimes that means using targeted supplements, or supporting your digestion with specific enzymes or acids. And for people like Walter, it meant making a small change that had a huge impact. Once his nutrient absorption was supported, the difference was night and day. His energy returned. His muscles stopped shrinking. He felt like himself again. So if you, or someone you love, has been feeling tired, weak, or just off, and the diet looks fine, this might be the missing piece of the puzzle. Because aging shouldn't mean slowing down, it should mean living smarter. Number 3. Poor sleep architecture. Walter always said he slept like a baby. Every morning, he'd wake up, stretch, sip his coffee, and say, "I got a solid 8 hours last night." He believed he was getting good sleep, and he had no reason to think otherwise. But deep down, literally deep in his brain, something was missing. When we talk about sleep, we often just think about how long we're sleeping. 8 hours? Great. 7? Not bad. But there's a hidden side of sleep most people don't know about, and that's sleep quality. You could be lying in bed for 8 hours, but if your body isn't cycling through the right stages of sleep, especially deep sleep, you're not getting the true benefits of rest. As we age, something sneaky starts happening in our sleep. We spend more time in lighter sleep and less time in deep, restorative sleep, the kind of sleep that your brain and body desperately need to recover and stay sharp. And the scary part? Most older adults don't even realize it. They feel like they slept fine. But inside their brains, it's a different story. You see, deep sleep is when the brain gets cleaned out. Literally, your body flushes out waste from your brain during deep sleep. It's also the time when your cells repair themselves, your immune system strengthens, and your memories get locked in. When we miss out on this stage night after night, problems begin to build up silently. That's what happened to Walter. He wasn't sleep-deprived in the way you might expect. He wasn't waking up all night, tossing and turning. But something was off. He started forgetting names more often. He caught colds more frequently. He felt tired during the day, even though he thought he got enough rest. So finally, his doctor suggested a sleep study. The results were shocking. Even though Walter spent nearly 8 hours in bed, his brain barely touched deep sleep. Most of his night was spent in light sleep, with just short, shallow visits into the deeper stages. It was like charging your phone all night, but only getting 20% battery by morning. This kind of sleep problem is extremely common in older adults. And because it's not obvious, because people don't wake up feeling totally exhausted, it often gets ignored. But over time, the effects add up. Memory issues, weakened immunity, mood swings, and yes, faster aging. All because the body never got the rest it truly needed. The good news is, this can be improved. But it starts with awareness. Number 4. Muscle wasting sarcopenia. Most people don't realize it, but starting around the age of 50, our muscles slowly begin to disappear. You don't feel it at first. There's no warning. No big event. It happens quietly, year after year. If you're not doing regular strength training, you can lose up to 1% of your muscle mass every single year. That might not sound like much, but over a decade, that's 10%. And that's a lot more than most people think. Muscle isn't just about looking strong or being able to lift heavy things. It plays a much bigger role in your body. Your muscles help protect your heart, they keep your metabolism running, and they're essential for balance and mobility. Without enough muscle, everyday tasks like climbing stairs, lifting groceries, or even standing up from a chair can become difficult. This isn't something that only happens to the elderly, it begins much earlier than most of us realize. Let me tell you about Walter. He's a 62-year-old retired teacher. He always thought of himself as pretty healthy. He walked every day, ate okay, and didn't feel like anything was wrong. But then one day, something happened. Walter tried to get up from his living room chair, and he couldn't do it without using his arms to push himself up. That moment shocked him. He had no idea he had been losing strength, but in reality, it had been happening for years, silently. What Walter experienced is called sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass as we age. It creeps up slowly. You might notice that you're not as steady on your feet as you once were. Maybe you feel weaker when lifting things, or you get tired faster than you used to. That's not just aging, it's muscle wasting. And if you don't take steps to stop it, it only gets worse. The scary part is, many people don't notice it until they've lost a big chunk of their strength. You can't really see it happening day to day. But over time, it affects your posture, your energy, your ability to move confidently. And unfortunately, this loss of muscle also increases your risk of serious injuries, like falls and fractures. Once you lose your strength, it becomes harder and harder to stay independent. But here's the good news. It's never too late to fight back. You don't have to accept this slow decline. The answer isn't complicated. It's strength training. Simple, consistent exercises using your body weight, resistance bands, or light weights can stop muscle loss in its tracks and even rebuild what you've lost. You don't need to spend hours in a gym. Just a few short sessions a week can make a huge difference. Building and maintaining muscle as you age isn't about vanity. It's about vitality. It's about keeping your body strong so you can keep doing the things you love. Whether that's traveling, playing with your grandchildren, gardening, or just staying active and independent for years to come. Strength gives you freedom, and muscle is the key to strength. We're living longer than ever before, but the real question is, how are we living? Are we strong enough to enjoy those extra years? Or are we struggling, weak, and dependent on others? The choice is in your hands. And it starts with understanding how muscle works, and why it matters more than most of us ever realized. Walter didn't know he was losing strength until his body finally showed him. But now, he's rebuilding it. He started doing simple chair squats and lightweight training 3 times a week. In just a couple of months, he felt more energy, more confidence, and more control over his life. You can do the same. Don't wait until you can't get up from a chair. Start now. Because muscle isn't just for athletes. It's for everyone. Number 5. Cellular dehydration. Most people think staying hydrated is just about drinking enough water each day. And while that's important, there's a deeper layer to this that almost no one talks about, especially as we get older. It's something called cellular dehydration. It might sound a little technical, but it's actually pretty simple and incredibly important. See, when we're young, our cells are like little water balloons. They're full, firm, and able to hold onto water easily. That's part of what gives us energy, keeps our joints smooth, and our brains sharp. But as we age, those same cells start to lose that ability. They can't hold on to water the way they used to, and that creates a whole chain reaction in the body. What does this actually feel like? Well, even if you're drinking water all day, you might still feel tired, stiff, or mentally foggy. You might get random aches, have dry skin, or feel like your body's just running low, even when you're doing everything right. That's cellular dehydration in action. It's not about how much you drink, it's about how much your cells keep. This kind of hidden dehydration can affect everything from how clearly you think to how your muscles and joints feel. In fact, many people mistake the symptoms of cellular dehydration for just getting older. But it's not always age, it's often that your cells are simply not getting the hydration they need at a deeper level. So why does this happen? Part of it is natural aging. But it also comes down to the minerals and electrolytes in your body, things like potassium, magnesium, and sodium. These act like gatekeepers, helping water move in and out of your cells. Without enough of these key minerals, your cells can't absorb water properly, no matter how much you drink. And unfortunately, most of us don't get enough of those minerals from our diet. Processed foods, stress, certain medications, and even drinking too much plain water without balancing electrolytes can throw everything off. That's why some people say they feel worse the more they hydrate, because their body isn't holding on to what it's given. The good news? You can absolutely fix this. With the right foods, the right balance of minerals, and small daily habits, your cells can relearn how to hold on to water again. It's like giving your body the tools it needs to repair itself from the inside out. And when that happens, you start to feel more energized, clearer mentally, and even less achy in your joints. Some of the best ways to support cellular hydration include adding natural electrolytes to your water, things like a pinch of sea salt, a splash of lemon, or using electrolyte powders made without added sugar. Eating more mineral-rich foods like leafy greens, avocados, and bananas also helps your body stay balanced. It's also important to stay away from things that steal hydration, like too much caffeine, alcohol, or processed food. These act like little thieves, pulling water and minerals out of your cells. The goal is to hydrate smart, not just more. So if you've ever wondered why you still feel tired or off, even when you're drinking plenty of water, it might be time to think deeper. Cellular hydration is a game changer, and once you understand it, it opens the door to feeling younger, sharper, and more alive every single day.